Hello and welcome back to my sewing makes for November. So it's been ages since I've done any sewing content on this channel and I apologise profusely, but I have been so busy. What with the summer holidays, which was crazy, and then just as we got back from the summer holidays I opened an extension to my unit, so I doubled the capacity on my studio, which means I had to go and hire loads more tutors, and just there was so much work involved. Actually spending any time sewing for me was just completely and utterly impossible. But things have calmed down a little bit. All of the new tutors are really happily in place. Classes are ticking along nicely, and I actually got some time to do some cutting out. Now I find that the way that sewing works best for me is that if I spend time cutting out my patterns, making sure all the markings and everything are transferred, and then placing them into little Ziploc bags, popping them to one side with the pattern, and then when I have time to sew, I can just grab a bag and piece it together, and it works so much better for me. So I spent quite a bit of time the other week cutting out lots and lots of different garments, and slowly but surely I've started to put them all together. And last Friday I had a sewing day, and it was so nice. I had other tutors in teaching classes, so I brought my overlocker into work from home, which is threaded up with black thread. The one at work is threaded up with white thread, and I basically set myself up a sewing station for the day, and I put together 4 things that day, and I'm going to show you 3 of them today. So the first was this sweatshirt that I'm wearing. Now if you watched my vlog that I did with my son earlier on this year, when fabric and board games collide in Essen, you would have seen we went fabric shopping. It was part of the Vlogtober series. I went fabric shopping at an amazing fabric shop in Essen in Germany, where they have loads and loads of gorgeous jerseys. So all of these things are jersey fabric. So this is beautiful sweatshirt fabric. I'm going to come up close in the hope that you can see that these pussycats have glittery cheeks. They're really lovely. It's beautifully fluffy on the inside and really soft, but it's also really expensive. It was 20 euros a metre, which for sweatshirt fabric is quite a lot. So I didn't actually buy enough to make my entire sweatshirt with. So as you'll see, if I step back, I've made the sweatshirt, the bodice, the front and the back bodice are made with the cat fabric, and then I've got plain black sweatshirting for the arms, the rib around the bottom and the neckband. Now if we could just show some appreciation for this neckband, because it is one of the things that I find the trickiest when I'm making jersey garments, is to get it A, to sit nice and flatly, but B, for it to be a really equal distance all the way around. Now I know if I got my seam allowance correct in the first place, that wouldn't be an issue, but I have managed to find a little top trick, and it might be something you will do, for getting my neckband in really well. So this entire garment I made on my overlocker. So straight up, just cut into it, scary, and made it completely on my overlocker. I didn't touch the sewing machine at all. But what I did with the neckband, obviously I joined it here first of all, so it was in a big circle, folded it in half and pressed it. But then instead of trying to clip the 2 raw edges to the raw edge of the neckline and keeping it all in place, I actually ran the neckband raw edges around on my overlocker very close to the edge, just to serge the edges together so it was one piece. And I found then attaching it to the sweatshirt was just a lot easier, and it meant that I could keep my seam allowance nice and neat. So I was really pleased with how that went. So the pattern is the New Look pattern 6314. It comes with a long net circle skirt and a fabric circle skirt. I haven't actually tried that pattern, although Elspeth has, but I do love the sweatshirt. The only thing I will say is I've added a good 3 inches to the body. So it would normally finish here, right on my hip bone, and for me, that's just simply not long enough. So I have added 4 inches to the length, just to give me a little bit more length. This is the size 16, although obviously I'm only a size 10, 12. We all know sewing patterns, especially the big four, always come up really totally different to high street sizes. So once again, do make sure if you're making any of the big four sewing patterns that you go by your measurements and not by your high street dress size. So this is the size 16. I could have gone down to the 14, but I like it baggy, it's comfy, it's supposed to be a chuck on the way to the gym, keep snugly and warm in at the weekends kind of sweatshirt, and it's super comfy, and I know that I'm going to get loads of wear out of it. Next on my list of makes is this Tilly and the Buttons Agnus top, which I have to say, my boobs look pretty cracking in. It is a little bit tight, but it's really lovely. It's got little fat podgy unicorns all over it, and again, let's just have some appreciation for this neckband. It's actually sitting beautifully. I think this is probably one of the best neckbands I've ever done, but definitely that overlocker tip works like a dream. So let me stand up and show you it in its full glory. So here it is. The sleeves are a little bit shorter than they should be. There is a good reason for that, and I'll tell you why in a minute. It fits really nicely and really snugly, but there are a few things that I did that were a little bit different. So I just went for a standard Agnus. I haven't done the elastic here, and I haven't done the ruched sleeves. Main reason being is that, again, this fabric, bought from the same shop in Essen in Germany, was stupid. I think it was about 19 euros a metre or something like that. It is really good quality. It's lovely jersey. It's nice and thick. It's got a good stretch to it, and it doesn't go all see-through when you're using it, and it sews together beautifully. So it was well worth the money, but I did have to scrimp a little bit, so I didn't get quite as much as I necessarily would need. And when it came to cutting out the sleeves, I realised I was probably about 3 inches short on each sleeve. So I basically cut the sleeves as long as I could, and so they've ended up just here. So it's a kind of 3/4 length sleeve. I'm happy with that because, to be honest, I'm always pushing my sleeves up anyway, and it's really comfortable. The other thing that I changed, I've made the Agnus on 3 separate occasions, and all of Tilly's patterns fit me really nicely. I never normally have to make any changes whatsoever. But the one thing I have found with the Agnus, and I know I'm not alone in finding this, is that the sleeves are really quite tight, and you can't actually easily pull the sleeves up if you want to, and they are quite clingy on the wrist. And I know I've got a couple of my customers who've also made it, and they say the same, so it's not just me. So what I decided to do when I did the final stage of the pattern, which is simply to sew from the cuff all the way down to the hem, I just sewed it on the very edge of my overlocker, so I didn't remove any fabric, so I didn't cut at 5/8 or sew at 5/8. I just put the raw edges on my overlocker and I went down. Now my thoughts were that the sleeves would fit beautifully and that it might be a bit too baggy on the bottom, in which case I could then bring it into 5/8 on the bottom, but I thought I'll do the whole thing first, just on the edge of my overlocker, and see how it came out. And anyway, I was pleasantly surprised to find that it fits really nicely. So I haven't changed anything. So this is a size 5 out of Tilly's patterns. So the size 5, cut perfectly at size 5. Everything's done at 5/8 except for this seam, which is probably 3/8 I would imagine, or just the very edge of my overlocker presser foot. So I'm really pleased with this. It's really comfortable. My mum's already eyeing one of these up and has dropped massive hints that she'd like one for Christmas. But I'm really not sure that I'm going to have time to get that done, but we shall see. So yeah, Tilly and the Buttons Agnus, really lovely fabric. If you want something similar to this, obviously you can't get this because it comes from a shop in Germany, unless you live in Germany, in which case go seek it out. They did have it in pink and grey as well. But if you want something similar to this, I can highly recommend Pink Scissors fabric. They're on Facebook, and the lovely Suzanne will help you out. They've got loads of really good quality jerseys. It's where I got my alpaca jersey that I made my lady skater dress with, and where lots and lots of my customers now purchase their jerseys from. They're nice qualities, they're a good thickness, and they make beautiful Agnus tops. So I've got one last thing to show you. So last up is yet another Coco to add to my collection. You will all know that I love Tilly and the Buttons Coco pattern. It's absolutely fabulous. If I find some decent Ponderoma anywhere, I buy myself 2 meters, I come home and I make myself a Coco, because you simply cannot go wrong. I've just gone for the standard long sleeve Coco with the roll neck, which I really like. I've done it tunic style. I haven't bothered to put the cuffs on because I find the arms are quite long on Coco, and to be honest, I just turn the hem under, and I'm quite happy with that. The fabric is lovely. It's quite a thin Ponte Roma. It's not as thick as the you would usually expect Ponte to be. But I bought it from the Stitching and Hobbycraft show that I went to a couple of weeks ago at AXL with my mum. And the lovely Rosenberg fabrics were there. He's always at all the big shows. You can always find them. They're always at Ali Pali and the Knitting and Stitch at Olympia. I think they probably did Sewing Bee Live, I'm not sure because I didn't go, but they do all the big shows, and he always has really beautiful fabrics, usually things that are kind of end of line designer fabrics. So a lot of the patterns and clothes that you see on the catwalk, you'll be able to get fabrics from him that have been used to make those samples and then go on to make clothes in the fashion industry. So he's always got something a little bit more unusual. This was £10 a metre, which I didn't think was too bad. Obviously pattern Ponte is quite hard to find. For some reason, it's easier to find in black and grey. I have no idea why, but when it comes to navy or pink or anything else, Ponte just doesn't seem to come in patterns in bright colours. And if I do see it, that's why I tend to snap it up and it just gets made into a Coco. So I'll give you a quick twirl. So here we go. Just your usual Coco, nothing amazing. Just really comfy and easy to wear. So they're my makes for November. I've got a couple more that are coming up that I'm going to sneak into December, which I've made this week. So I'll have more videos coming, and I also plan a video on my lady skater dresses, because since making my lovely alpaca dress, I've gone on to make another 2 and teach a couple of classes making the same dress. So I thought I would do a little makes video on those. So for those of you who've missed the sewing content, you've got plenty coming to get you. So do watch this space. Remember to like the post, comment below. Please subscribe to my channel if you don't already. Every little thumbs up that you give me helps push me up there in the rankings of YouTube, so more people can see what I'm up to. And the more of you, the more impetus I have to deliver more. So I will see you soon, and thanks for watching. Bye!